Ma'am, this is first class. You don't belong here. Get out of that seat now, or I'll call security to drag you out. The voice of flight attendant Megan Carter cuts through the cabin like a blade, echoing across the first-class section of Horizon Airlines Flight 892. Every head turns toward Alicia Harper, a black woman seated in 2A, her first-class boarding pass gripped tightly in her hand. Megan's words aren't just harsh. They're a public humiliation. "Did you hear me?" Megan snaps, her tone dripping with disdain. "This isn't your place." The cabin freezes. A middle-aged businessman in seat 1B stops flipping through his newspaper, his eyes wide. A young couple in 3C halts their conversation, one of them raising a phone to record Alicia. Her sharp eyes framed by thin glasses, responds with a voice steady but edged with steel. "I have a valid ticket. Explain why I'm being asked to leave. Now. If this injustice makes your blood boil, hit that subscribe button and tell us where you're watching from in the comments below. This story isn't just a moment. It's a fight for what's right. And you won't want to miss what happens next." Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, Atlanta, Georgia. A warm June evening in 2024. The terminal buzzes with life. Announcements crackle over the speakers. Travelers wheel suitcases across the polished floor, and the glow of runway lights reflects off sleek jets outside. Horizon Airlines, Flight 892 to Seattle is boarding, promising a smooth 2,200-mile journey. Alicia Harper, CEO of Harper Tech Solutions, steps into the first-class cabin with quiet confidence. At 44, she's built her tech company from a cramped office in Oakland into a powerhouse specializing in supply chain software. Her navy suit is tailored to perfection, her hair pulled back neatly, and her leather briefcase holds the presentation for a tech conference in Seattle, a deal worth $250 million that could redefine her company's future. Alicia grew up in a working-class Oakland neighborhood, raised by a single mother who worked nights as a nurse. Those nights. Alicia would lie awake, hearing her mother's tired footsteps, dreaming of a world where hard work could break any barrier. Now, sitting in seat 2A, she's living that dream. Or so she thought. She opens her briefcase, reviewing slides for a pitch that could land Harper Tech among the top players in the industry. The first-class cabin is a haven of luxury, plush leather seats, soft lighting, and the faint hum of exclusivity. But as she organizes her notes, a shadow falls over her. Megan Carter, a veteran flight attendant, watches from the galley. At 38, Megan prides herself on reading passengers, a skill honed over 15 years with Horizon. Raised in a small Georgia town where everyone had their place, she carries unconscious biases she'd never admit to. Her smile is tight, her eyes narrowing as she approaches Alicia. Something about this woman in 2A doesn't fit Megan's mental picture of a first-class passenger. The other travelers, mostly older white men in suits or affluent couples with designer bags, seem to belong. Alicia, in Megan's mind, does not. "Ma'am," Megan says, her voice clipped. "I need to see your boarding pass." Alicia looks up, surprised but composed. "Is there an issue?" she asks, handing over the pass. Megan examines it with exaggerated scrutiny, her lips pursing. "There's been a mistake," she says, her tone implying more than a clerical error. "This seat is reserved for a Harper." The words hang heavy, a challenge wrapped in suspicion. Alicia's stomach tightens, but her face remains calm. She's been here before, not on a plane, but in boardrooms, stores, even college classrooms, where her presence was questioned not for her actions, but for her skin. She pulls out her driver's license, her Harper Tech corporate credit card, and her Horizon Gold Elite membership card. "I am Alicia Harper," she says firmly. "This is my seat." Megan's eyes flicker with doubt, but instead of backing down, she doubles down. "I'll need to verify this with my supervisor," she says, her voice loud enough to draw attention. Passengers shift uncomfortably. The businessman in 1B glances over his paper, pretending not to stare. The couple in 3C whispers, their phones still recording. A woman in 4A adjusts her glasses, her curiosity piqued. Alicia feels the weight of their gazes, the silent judgment of a crowd that doesn't know her story but is quick to assume. Megan calls for the gate manager, Daniel Brooks. At 47, Daniel is a practical man, focused on keeping Horizon's operations smooth and its reputation intact. He strides into the cabin, his expression already set, without looking at Alicia's documents. He speaks. "Ma'am, we need you to step off the plane so we can sort this out. We can't have disruptions." His words are polite but cold, assuming guilt before evidence. Alicia's heart races, but she keeps her composure. She remembers her mother's advice. Never let them see you break. She leans forward, her voice low but unwavering. I've flown Horizon first class for years. I'm a Gold Elite member. My company has a $60 million contract with your airline. Check my documents before you escalate this further. Daniel hesitates, but Megan cuts in, her voice rising. This section is for elite passengers, and you don't look the part. The cabin gasps. The businessman drops his paper entirely. The couple's video captures every word. Alicia feels the sting, but it's not new. She recalls a moment in her 20s, stopped by security at a high-end store, accused of looking suspicious while shopping for a suit. She fought then, and she'll fight now. I suggest you check your passenger list, Alicia says, her tone sharp but controlled. You're making a mistake. Megan's face hardens. I know who belongs here. She snaps. The tension is palpable, like a storm about to break. Passengers exchange glances, some whispering, others avoiding the scene. One mutters, Why doesn't she just move? Another shrugs, probably trying to sneak an upgrade. Daniel calls for security, escalating the situation beyond reason. Officer Ryan Mitchell, 40, arrives with the authority of someone who's handled countless disputes. He's used to siding with crew members, assuming passengers are the problem. Ma'am, he says, not glancing at her ID. You need to leave the aircraft now, or I'll escort you off. Alicia's mind races. She knows fighting here, in front of a crowd. Risks arrest and missing her flight. The flight that carries her to the most critical deal of her career. She thinks of her mother, working 3 jobs to send her to college, and the years she spent proving herself in a tech industry that rarely welcomed women like her. She stands, gathers her briefcase, and walks down the aisle, her head high. The cabin watches in silence, some with sympathy, others with indifference. The clock reads 7:55 p.m. The flight is set to depart in 10 minutes, and Alicia Harper, a legitimate first-class passenger, is left standing in the terminal, her dreams at risk of slipping away. Alicia Harper stands in the bustling gate area of Hartsfield-Jackson, the hum of travelers and distant jet engines filling the air. The clock ticks to 8 p.m., and the weight of Megan Carter's accusation, calling her a fraud in front of strangers, settles like a stone in her chest. But Alicia's not broken. She's forged in fire, raised in an Oakland neighborhood where her mother, a nurse working night shifts, taught her to stand tall against doubt. At 44, as CEO of Harper Tech Solutions, she's faced boardrooms that questioned her worth before she spoke. This isn't new. It's just louder. She adjusts her glasses, her sharp eyes scanning the terminal. Passengers glance her way, some curious, others judgmental. A mother with a toddler whispers to her partner, pointing subtly. A businessman in a hurry mutters about delays. Alicia ignores them, her mind racing. The Seattle Tech Conference, where her $250 million deal awaits, is slipping away with every minute. But this isn't just about a flight. It's about a system that saw her skin and assumed she didn't belong. She pulls out her phone, her fingers steady, and dials Jamal Washington, Her executive assistant, Jamal, 32, answers instantly, his voice tight with concern. Raised in Atlanta's West End, he knows what it's like to be underestimated in spaces not built for him. He's been with Harper Tech since its scrappy startup days, loyal to Alicia's vision. "They kicked you off the plane?" he says, disbelief sharp. "For what?" Alicia's response is calm but resolute. "For being black in first class. Start pulling our Horizon contracts. Jamal, all $60 million of them, and get Laura on the line." Jamal doesn't hesitate. "I'm on it. Give me 15 minutes. Alicia moves to the Horizon Sky Lounge, a sleek oasis of leather seats and dim lighting overlooking the tarmac 50 feet below. She sits, her briefcase open but untouched. Her thoughts drift to her mother, who scraped together $200 a month for coding classes when Alicia was a teen, believing tech could be her ticket out. Those sacrifices built Harper Tech, a company now poised to dominate supply chain software. Alicia won't let this humiliation derail her, or anyone else who faces the same bias. Laura Nguyen, Harper Tech's 50-year-old chief counsel, joins the call, a Vietnamese-American lawyer with a steel-trap mind. Laura's own family fled Saigon in '75, building a life from nothing. She's fought discrimination cases for years, her resolve rooted in her parents' struggles. "Alicia," she says, her voice a mix of fury and focus. "This is textbook racial bias. We'll need witness statements, security footage, and those passenger videos I'm seeing online. I'll draft a legal brief by dawn. We can hit Horizon hard. Lawsuit, media, the works." Alicia nods, watching her plane taxi away through the lounge's windows. "Do it, Laura, and prep a press strategy. This won't stay quiet." She's right. The young couple's video from 3C is exploding online, racking up 100,000 views in 20 minutes. The hashtag Horizon Discrimination trends on Twitter, with comments pouring in. "Horizon Airlines just humiliated a black woman for no reason." One user writes, another posts, "Cutting my Horizon card tonight. This is shameful." Alicia hasn't seen the posts, but she feels the shift. The world is watching. Back at the gate, Megan Carter confers with gate manager Daniel Brooks. Megan's smugness hasn't faded. She believes she's protected Horizon's elite passengers. Daniel, focused on keeping operations smooth, senses trouble. He's used to handling complaints with quick fixes, rebooking, vouchers. But this feels different. "Ms. Harper," he says, approaching her in the lounge. "We can get you on the next flight. Let's resolve this quietly." Alicia's gaze is icy. "Quietly? Your staff accused me of fraud in front of 20 people. My ticket was valid. My ID was clear. This isn't about a seat. It's about why I was targeted." Megan, lingering nearby, chimes in. "We have protocols to prevent seat theft." Her tone is defensive, but it cracks under Alicia's stare. "Protocols?" Alicia says, her voice low and piercing. "Show me the rule that says a black woman with a Gold Elite membership needs extra scrutiny." Megan falters, her face reddening. Daniel steps in, his voice tense. "Let's not escalate this further. We'll review the issue." But Alicia's done with platitudes. "You had my documents. You chose to ignore them. That's not a review. That's a reckoning." Security Officer Ryan Mitchell watches from a distance, his radio silent. He's starting to question his snap decision to side with Megan. In his 15 years, he's seen passengers try to game the system. But Alicia's composure, her stack of IDs, her calm insistence, nags at him. He steps closer. "Ma'am, I should have looked at your ticket. Can we talk?" Alicia's eyes meet his, unflinching. "You had your chance, officer. Now I'm talking to someone who can actually fix this." She dials Jamal again. "Get me Edward Sullivan, Horizon's CEO. I want him now." The lounge grows quiet, travelers sensing the gravity of the moment. Alicia sits, her posture regal despite the chaos. She thinks of her first pitch at 25 when a venture capitalist asked if she was really the lead developer. She proved him wrong then, and she'll do it again. But the cost is real. The next flight to Seattle is 24 hours away, a delay that could let competitors snatch her deal. The conference starts in 36 hours, and every second counts. Worse, the humiliation, being paraded out like a criminal, cuts deep. She sees her mother's tired eyes, hears her saying, "Don't let them dim your light." Online, the video hits 500,000 views. A passenger's tweet reads, "Horizon treated this woman like a thief for being black in first class. Boycott them." Former customers post photos of cut-up Horizon credit cards. The airline's stock, discussed in after-hours trading, takes a hit. Alicia doesn't know the full extent yet, but she senses the tide turning. She's not just a passenger wronged. She's a CEO with leverage, a woman with a voice, and a fighter with a cause. As the clock nears 8:30 p.m., Jamal calls back. Sullivan's team is aware. They're scrambling. Laura's got the legal team assembling evidence. What's next? Alicia takes a breath, her resolve hardening. Tell Sullivan I'm not boarding another Horizon flight until he faces this head-on. And Jamal, make sure the world knows what happened here. The jet is gone, 2,200 miles from her destination. But Alicia Harper is just getting started. This isn't the end. It's the spark of a fire that will burn brighter than anyone expects. The Horizon Sky Lounge, perched 50 feet above the tarmac, hums with quiet tension. Alicia Harper sits alone, her leather briefcase unopened, her sharp eyes fixed on the runway where Flight 892 has vanished into the Georgia night. The clock ticks toward 8:45 p.m. Each minute a reminder of the Seattle Tech Conference where her $250 million deal hangs in the balance. The sting of being labeled a fraud for sitting in her rightful first-class seat burns, but Alicia channels it into focus. She's not just fighting for herself. She's fighting for every person who's been dismissed because of their skin. Her mother's words from their Oakland days echo. You're not just breaking barriers, Alicia. You're building bridges for others. Jamal Washington's voice crackles through her phone, urgent but steady. Sullivan's team is panicking. They know about the video. It's at 75,000 views now, and news outlets are picking it up. Laura's got a legal draft ready, and she's digging into Megan and Daniel's employee records. Sullivan's assistant says he'll call within the hour. Alicia nods, her mind racing. Good. Keep the pressure on, Jamal, and get me the names of every passenger in first class. I want witnesses. Jamal, ever efficient, promises to deliver by midnight. Laura Nguyen, HarperTech's chief counsel, sends a text. Found 14 complaints against Megan Carter, 11 involving Black or Latino passengers. Daniel Brooks has 9 in 3 years. This isn't isolated, it's a pattern. Alicia's jaw tightens. She recalls a college professor who once told her she'd never make it in tech. She proved him wrong, building HarperTech into a powerhouse. Now, she'll expose Horizon's flaws with the same precision. She types back, "Build the case. Laura, this goes beyond me." The lounge's glass walls reflect the glow of Alicia's phone screen as she scrolls through Twitter. The hashtag Horizon Discrimination is trending nationwide, with 1 million views. A post from the businessman in 1B reads, "I saw Horizon humiliate a black woman in first class. Her ticket was legit. This is wrong." Another from the couple in 3C. "She was calm, professional, and still got kicked off. Horizon, do better." Comments pile up. Stories of similar experiences. Calls for boycotts. Photos of shredded Horizon loyalty cards. Alicia feels a swell of solidarity, but also the weight of responsibility. This isn't just her fight anymore. At the gate, Megan Carter and Daniel Brooks huddle with security officer Ryan Mitchell. Megan's confidence is fraying, her earlier smugness replaced by unease. I was following protocol, she insists, but her voice wavers. Daniel, ever the pragmatist, senses the fallout. This is getting out of hand, he mutters, checking his phone as alerts from Horizon's corporate office flood in. Ryan, stepping away, rethinks his role. He'd assumed Alicia was in the wrong, but her stack of IDs, driver's license, corporate card, Gold Elite membership, nags at him. He radios his supervisor, Sarah Evans, a 45-year-old security manager known for her fairness. I might have misjudged this one, he admits. Can you pull the gate footage? Sarah, stationed in the airport's security hub 100 yards away, agrees to review the video, raised in a diverse Miami neighborhood. She's seen bias play out and knows its cost. Send me everything, Ryan, she says. If this woman's legit, we've got a problem. The footage shows Alicia presenting her documents, Megan's dismissive tone, and Daniel's refusal to engage. Sarah's stomach drops. This isn't a mix-up. It's discrimination. Plain and simple. Alicia's phone buzzes with a call from an unknown number. Ms. Harper, this is Edward Sullivan, CEO of Horizon Airlines, a voice says, heavy with urgency. Edward, based in Horizon's Dallas headquarters 700 miles away, has spent the last 30 minutes in a crisis meeting. The $60 million Harper Tech contract is one of Horizon's largest, covering corporate travel and logistics for 4,000 employees. Losing it would be catastrophic. But the viral video, now at 2 million views, threatens worse. A public relations disaster that could tank Horizon's stock, already dipping in after-hours trading. Ms. Harper, Edward continues, I'm horrified by what happened. I want to make this right. Alicia's response is measured but sharp. Mr. Sullivan, your staff accused me of fraud because of my race. I missed a critical flight for a $250 million deal. Apologies don't fix that. Edward hesitates, sensing the depth of her resolve. What can we do? He asks. Alicia leans forward, her voice steady. You'll hear my terms, but first, I want a full investigation. Your employees' records, the footage, everything, and I want it by morning. Edward agrees, his team already scrambling. He calls Karen Ellis, Horizon's 42-year-old HR director, who's reviewing complaints against Megan and Daniel. Karen, a data-driven leader from Chicago, is shaken by Laura's findings. Megan's got a history, she tells Edward. 11 complaints about minority passengers in 5 years. Daniel's not far behind. We should have acted sooner. Edward's face pales. Horizon prides itself on customer service, but this exposes a rot within. Get me those records, he says, and prep for terminations if the evidence holds. Back in the lounge, Alicia reflects on her journey. At 25, she pitched her first app to investors who barely looked at her. At 30, she faced a boardroom that questioned her leadership. Each time, she turned doubt into fuel. Now, 2,200 miles from her goal, she's doing it again. But the cost is heavy. The Seattle deal could slip to competitors, and the public humiliation, being marched off a plane like a criminal, cuts deep. She thinks of her mother, who walked 3 miles to work when their car broke down, never complaining. That strength courses through Alicia now. The lounge empties as the night deepens, but Alicia remains, her resolve a beacon. Jamal texts, witness list from first class secured. 3 passengers are willing to testify. Laura follows. Legal brief ready. We're naming names. Megan, Daniel, Ryan. The video hits 3 million views, with news channels now covering the story. A CNN headline flashes. Black CEO removed from Horizon flight in alleged discrimination incident. Alicia feels the momentum building. She's not just a passenger wronged. She's a catalyst for change. As 9 p.m. approaches, Sarah Evans calls Ryan. The footage backs Ms. Harper. She did nothing wrong. You need to make a statement. Ryan, shaken, agrees. He's starting to see the weight of his snap judgment. At the same time, Edward Sullivan prepares for a direct call with Alicia. He knows her terms will be steep, but the alternative, a lawsuit, a lost contract, a shattered reputation, is unthinkable. Alicia, staring out at the dark tarmac, knows she holds the cards. This isn't just about getting to Seattle. It's about dismantling a system that dares to say she doesn't belong. The Horizon Sky Lounge, 50 feet above Atlanta's tarmac, is a cocoon of quiet amid the storm. Alicia Harper sits, her navy suit a stark contrast to the chaos unfolding online. The clock hits 9:15 p.m., and her phone buzzes with Edward Sullivan's name, Horizon's CEO, based 700 miles away in Dallas, speaks with a mix of urgency and contrition. Miss Harper, I'm deeply sorry for what happened on Flight 892. This is unacceptable, and I want to fix it. Alicia's voice is calm but unyielding, like steel wrapped in velvet. Mr. Sullivan, your staff didn't just make a mistake. They targeted me because of my race. I missed a $250 million deal's flight. Words won't undo that. Edward, in his Dallas office, feels the weight of the crisis. The hashtag Horizon Discrimination hashtag now has 4 million views, and CNN's coverage is relentless. Horizon's stock, already shaky in after-hours trading, faces a potential 5% drop at market open. Alicia's $60 million HarperTech contract, covering 4,000 employees' travel and logistics, is at risk. Edward knows this could spiral into a lawsuit costing tens of millions. What can we do to make this right? He asks, his voice strained. Alicia leans forward, her sharp eyes glinting. She's not just a CEO, she's a strategist, forged in Oakland's tough streets and tech's cutthroat boardrooms. You'll get my terms, she says. But first, I want a full investigation. Megan Carter's and Daniel Brooks' records, security footage, passenger manifests, everything, by midnight. And I want your personal commitment to real change, not just damage control. Edward agrees, his team already pulling files. You have my word, he says. We'll act swiftly. In the lounge, Alicia's thoughts drift to her mother, who walked 3 miles to work when their car failed, teaching her to fight with dignity. She texts Jamal Washington, "Get me a meeting with Sullivan's team at the airport by morning." Jamal, working from his Atlanta apartment 10 miles away, responds, "Done. 3 witnesses confirmed. 1B, 3C, 3D. Media's blowing up. You're trending globally." The video now has 5 million views. With posts flooding in, Horizon's racism is on full display. One reads, another shows a former customer snapping a Horizon card in half. Alicia feels the momentum but knows the real battle is ahead. At Horizon's Atlanta operations hub, 100 yards from the lounge, Sarah Evans, the security manager, briefs Ryan Mitchell. The footage she reviewed is damning. Alicia presenting her gold elite card, Megan's dismissive tone, Daniel's refusal to engage. "This is a mess," Sarah says, her Miami roots giving her a keen sense of injustice. "Ryan, you need to write a statement. You escalated without cause." Ryan nods, guilt settling in. He's replaying Alicia's calm insistence. Her stack of IDs he ignored. "I'll fix this," he says, drafting an apology for his supervisor. Meanwhile, Edward Sullivan confers with Karen Ellis, Horizon's HR director, in Dallas. Karen's digging through employee records, her Chicago pragmatism shaken. "Megan's got 14 complaints, 11 against minority passengers," she says. "Daniel has 9 in 3 years. We let this slide too long." Edward's face hardens. Horizon's customer-first mantra feels hollow now. "Prepare termination papers for Megan," he says, "and suspend Daniel pending review. We can't defend this. Alicia, in the lounge, meets Laura Nguyen, who arrives with a tablet full of evidence. Laura's immigrant background fuels her fire. She's seen her parents face bias in their small business. We've got a slam-dunk case, she says. Megan's complaints show a pattern. Daniel's no better. We can push for systemic reforms, not just compensation. Alicia nods, her mind sharp. It's not about money, she says. It's about making sure no one else endures this. Laura smiles, recognizing Alicia's vision. Then let's hit them where it hurts. Their culture. At 10:00 p.m., Alicia enters a conference room 200 feet from the lounge. Joined by Laura and Jamal, Edward appears via video call, flanked by Karen and Horizon's legal chief, Michael Torres, a 48-year-old attorney known for crisis management. Michael, raised in Houston's diverse barrios, knows discrimination's sting but prioritizes Horizon's bottom line. Ms. Harper, Edward begins. We're terminating Megan Carter effective immediately. Daniel Brooks is suspended. We're offering you a private flight to Seattle, fully comped, leaving tonight. Alicia's gaze is unflinching. That's a start, but it's not enough. This isn't about one flight or two employees. It's about a system that let this happen. She slides a folder across the table, her terms clear and non-negotiable. First, mandatory bias training for all 25,000 Horizon employees, pilots, gate agents, executives, everyone. Not a one-hour video, but in-person sessions led by external experts, with role-playing and accountability. Second, diverse hiring goals. 30% of new hires and 20% of promotions must be from underrepresented groups, with quarterly reports. Third, a $3 million donation to civil rights groups like the NAACP, paid now, not spread out. Fourth, an independent civil rights ombudsman, reporting to your board, with power to investigate complaints. Fifth, zero tolerance for discrimination, immediate termination, no second chances. Finally, a public statement admitting your staff's racial bias and outlining these reforms. No vague apologies. The room is silent. Edward's legal team whispers urgently, but he knows Alicia holds the cards. A lawsuit could cost $50 million, and losing HarperTech's $60 million contract would cripple Horizon's corporate accounts. The video, now at 7 million views, is on every major news outlet. Horizon Airlines faces backlash over alleged discrimination. MSNBC reports. Twitter users post hashtag boycott Horizon, and stock forums predict a 7% drop. Edward nods. We agree to your terms. Ms. Harper, we'll start implementation tomorrow. Alicia's not done. One more thing, she says, her voice steady. I need to get to Seattle. Arrange that private flight. But I want some of the same gate staff from 892 there. Let's see if they've learned anything. Edward swallows hard, recognizing the challenge. It's done, he says. A jet will be ready by 11:00 p.m., 2 miles from here at a private terminal. As the meeting ends, Alicia steps back into the lounge, her team trailing. She thinks of her mother, who never saw first class but believed Alicia could. The fight's not over, but she's turned humiliation into power. The tarmac glows under the night sky, and Alicia knows this moment. 200 feet from where she was wronged marks a turning point. Horizon's reckoning has begun, and she's its architect. The private terminal at Hartsfield-Jackson, 2 miles from the main hub, glows under the Atlanta night sky. It's 10:45 p.m., June 2024, and Alicia Harper approaches the gate for her chartered Horizon jet to Seattle. Her navy suit is still crisp, her leather briefcase a symbol of her unbroken resolve. The viral storm rages online. Hashtag Horizon discrimination now at 8 million views. But Alicia's focus is razor sharp. Her $250 million deal awaits at the Seattle Tech Conference, and this flight, arranged in hours, is her path forward. She recalls her mother's words from their Oakland days. You don't just climb mountains, Alicia, you move them. Tonight, she's doing just that. The gate buzzes with a different energy than the chaos of Flight 892. Two gate agents from that evening, now visibly nervous, stand at attention. 1. Emily Carter, a 29-year-old Atlanta native who witnessed Alicia's removal. Checks her boarding pass with care. Miss Harper, everything's in order, Emily says, her voice steady but apologetic. We're honored to assist you. The other agent, a young man who stayed silent during the incident, ensures her luggage is handled gently. Their professionalism is a stark contrast to the hostility of hours ago, a sign that Alicia's demands are already rippling. Captain Sofia Ramirez, a 51-year-old pilot with 25 years at Horizon, greets Alicia at the jet's door. Raised in San Antonio, Sofia broke barriers as one of Horizon's few Latina captains, her career built on precision and empathy. Ms. Harper, she says, her eyes warm, I'm ashamed of what you endured. I've flown 3 million miles with Horizon, and this doesn't reflect who we can be. You have my commitment to a flawless flight. Alicia nods, sensing Sofia's sincerity. It's not corporate spin. It's one woman acknowledging another's fight. The jet, a sleek Gulfstream G650, is a far cry from Flight 892's commercial cabin. Leather seats, soft lighting, and a quiet hum create a sanctuary 30 feet long. Alicia settles into her seat, opening her briefcase to review her Seattle pitch. The crew, hand-picked by Sofia, moves with quiet efficiency. A flight attendant, Lisa Nguyen, a 34-year-old from Portland whose parents fled Vietnam, offers a warm smile. Miss Harper, anything you need, just ask, she says, her tone genuine. Alicia feels the difference. No suspicious glances, no questioning of her place. It's what first class should have been. As the jet taxis, Sofia's voice comes over the intercom, steady and sincere. Ladies and gentlemen, we're honored to have Ms. Alicia Harper aboard tonight. After an unacceptable incident on her original flight, Horizon is committed to ensuring every passenger is treated with respect, regardless of race or background. We're here to deliver the experience Ms. Harper deserves. The announcement, though brief, carries weight. Alicia's eyes soften. It's a small gesture, but it echoes her demand for accountability. The jet lifts off, climbing 35,000 feet above Georgia. Alicia gazes out at the stars, reflecting on the past hours. The humiliation of being marched off Flight 892 stung, but it's fueled her fire. She thinks of her mother, who walked 3 miles to work to afford her daughter's future. That sacrifice built Harper Tech, and now Alicia's using her power to reshape an industry. Her phone buzzes with a text from Jamal Washington. CNN's running your story nonstop. You're a hero online. Seattle team's ready for you. Laura Nguyen follows. Legal briefs filed. We're pushing for systemic change. The flight is smooth, covering 2,200 miles in under 5 hours. Lisa checks on Alicia discreetly, offering coffee or a light meal. Alicia declines, focused on her slides. The $250 million deal could make Harper Tech a global leader. But her mind drifts to the bigger picture, ensuring no one else faces what she did. She recalls a moment at 27 when a tech conference organizer assumed she was staff, not a speaker. She proved them wrong then, and she's doing it again now. As the jet descends into Seattle at 1:30 a.m. Pacific Time, Sofia makes another announcement. Ms. Harper, we're proud to bring you to Seattle. Horizon is listening, and we're changing because of you. Alicia feels a quiet pride. The crew's respect isn't forced. It's earned. At the private terminal, 5 miles from Seattle's downtown, a car waits to whisk her to her hotel. She has 6 hours to rest before her presentation, but her mind is clear. She's turned a personal injustice into a catalyst for reform. The next morning, Alicia walks into the conference center, her presence commanding. The viral story has reached the tech world, and executives greet her with admiration. Her pitch is flawless, blending data and vision. The deal is signed by noon, a $250 million contract that cements HarperTech's dominance. But Alicia's victory isn't just financial. Attendees whisper about her stand against Horizon, her grace under fire. She's not just a CEO, she's a symbol of resilience. As she leaves the conference, Alicia checks her phone. The video now has 10 million views, and Horizon's public statement, released at dawn, admits the racial bias and outlines her demanded reforms. Hashtag Horizon discrimination trends alongside hashtag Alicia Harper. With posts praising her strength, she texts Jamal, "We did it, but this is just the start." The jet, waiting 5 miles away, will take her back to Atlanta, but Alicia knows her real journey is just beginning. Alicia Harper boards a Horizon Airlines flight from Atlanta to San Francisco, 2,200 miles west, 9 months after her battle began. It's March 2025, and the first-class cabin of Flight 314 feels different. No suspicious glances, no questioning of her Gold Elite status. The gate agents, trained under Horizon's new bias program, greet her with professional warmth. Her Navy suit, now a familiar armor, carries the weight of a victory that's changed more than one airline. As she settles into seat 2A, Alicia reflects on her mother's Oakland wisdom. You don't just win for yourself, Alicia. You win for those who come after. Today, she's living that truth. The cabin hums with quiet anticipation, 30 feet of luxury soaring 35,000 feet above the U.S. Alicia opens her laptop, reviewing HarperTech's latest expansion, a $500 million Asia deal built on her Seattle triumph. But her mind drifts to the broader impact of her stand. Horizon's reforms, sparked by her demands, have slashed discrimination complaints by 70% in 9 months. The $3 million donation funds NAACP legal aid and local programs, helping 50 minority-owned businesses grow. The independent ombudsman, Dr. Maria Gonzalez, a 53-year-old civil rights scholar from Miami, has investigated 200 backlogged complaints, leading to 10 terminations and retraining for 300 staff. Alicia's fight has become a blueprint for change. A young black girl, Maya Thompson, catches Alicia's eye from Coach. At 11, Maya's curious gaze lingers on the first-class curtain, her braided hair framing a face full of dreams. She's traveling with her grandmother, Ruth, a retired teacher from Birmingham, Alabama. Alicia sees herself in Maya, her own childhood spent dreaming of worlds beyond Oakland's limits. After the seatbelt sign dims, Alicia walks to Coach, her presence drawing quiet respect. "Hi, Maya," she says, kneeling to meet the girl's eyes. "I'm Alicia. Mind if I chat with you?" Ruth nods, her eyes twinkling with recognition. She's followed Alicia's story, shared by every news outlet from CNN to local blogs. "You're that CEO," Ruth says softly. "You fought for all of us." Alicia smiles, turning to Maya. "What do you want to be, Maya?" The girl hesitates, then beams. "A coder. I want to make apps that help people." Alicia's heart swells. She recalls coding her first program at 12, her mother saving $50 a month for a used computer. "You'll be amazing," Alicia says. "I started just like you." She invites Maya and Ruth to see first class, explaining the amenities with warmth. Maya touches the leather seat, wide-eyed, asking how the entertainment screen works. "Maya," Alicia says, sitting beside her, "I grew up in a place where people said I couldn't do big things. But I did. And you can too. Never let anyone tell you you don't belong." Maya nods, clutching a notebook with app sketches. Ruth wipes a tear. Seeing you here, she whispers, shows her what's possible. Alicia hands Maya a business card. When you're ready for college, have your grandma call me. My company has a scholarship fund to help dreamers like you. The Harper Tech Future Fund, named for her mother, has supported 80 students in tech fields, offering tuition, internships, and mentorship. Maya holds the card like a treasure, her voice soft. You think I can really do it? Alicia's eyes shine. I know you can, but promise me, when you succeed, you'll lift up others too. Maya nods solemnly. I promise. Back in her seat. Alicia reflects on the past 9 months. Horizon's bias training, led by external experts, is now an industry model. Diverse hiring has boosted minority representation by 25% in entry roles and 15% in management. The Ombudsman's reports, published quarterly, ensure transparency. Other airlines, facing public pressure, adopt similar reforms. The Department of Transportation, spurred by Alicia's case, issued new anti-discrimination guidelines after congressional hearings 100 miles from Atlanta. Alicia's story, covered in Forbes and Time, has made her a global speaker on equity. Megan Carter, the terminated flight attendant, reached out last month. In a letter, she wrote, Losing my job was a wake-up call. I'm in therapy, volunteering with civil rights groups, trying to unlearn my biases. Thank you for holding me accountable, Alicia replied, encouraging her growth. Daniel Brooks, also fired, now works with community programs, confronting his past mistakes. Edward Sullivan, Horizon's CEO, speaks at industry conferences 500 miles apart, advocating for inclusion. His perspective shifted by Alicia's stand. As the jet descends into San Francisco, Alicia glances at a drawing Maya gave her, a pixelated app design labeled Maya's Code World in crayon. She smiles, knowing her fight wasn't just about one flight. It was about Maya, about every dreamer told they don't belong. The Harper Tech Future Fund will grow, she decides, aiming for 200 students next year. Her phone buzzes with a text from Jamal. Your speech at the UN Tech Summit next week is set. They're calling you a trailblazer, Laura adds. DOJ is citing our case in new airline regulations. You changed the game. The plane touches down 5 miles from San Francisco's skyline, the cabin applauding softly. Alicia gathers her briefcase, her heart full. 9 months ago, 2,200 miles from here, she was humiliated. Now, she's a catalyst. Horizon's reforms, the fund, Maya's dreams, they're her legacy. As she steps off, a flight attendant says, Thank you, Ms. Harper. Alicia nods, knowing the real victory isn't hers alone. It's in the paths she's cleared, the barriers she's broken, and the futures she's ignited. If Alicia's fight for justice inspires you, hit that subscribe button and share this story with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment below. Tell us how you're standing up against unfairness in your own life. Let's keep this movement growing.